Everyone. Good morning, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. How is everyone doing? I'll just wait for you guys to tune in. Come on in. If you can see me or hear me, comment, let me know that you can hear me. I think my Instagram is having some issues, so I'm just going to wait. Okay, it looks like Instagram is connected now. Join me, come on in. How's everyone doing? Hi, Instagram. I missed you guys. I just got back from my trip to Nigeria, which was great. Um, Hi, Marity. Hi, Macedonas. Speedy, you can't hear me? Can any of you hear me? Thank you, Niall. Speedy, you might want to check your audio because the other people can hear me. My vacation was amazing. I hadn't been to Nigeria in 15 years. So it was nice to go back home. It's definitely very different, much more progressive than, when I lived there. And, it was my children's first time going and seeing their, grandfather, their paternal grandfather. So that was really nice. So it was a really, really great time. Did you bring us any gifts? Well, I'm a gift in and of itself, so you should be happy to have me here. I was very, very happy to get a lot of Nigerian outfits. So you guys might be seeing some of that, in some of my lives, like just, putting together my African twist in some of my outfits because, I love the fashion and mixing it up. Most of the time when I wear like my African outfits, I usually don't wear them to work, but I got some that I can kind of combine. Okay, let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Aisha Chido. I'm an immigration lawyer. I represent clients all over the United States and internationally with the U.S. Immigration. If you want to schedule a consultation or you would like our assistance, call 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404 333-8751. Someone says, where's my own agbalumo? It's so funny because that was the first thing. Agbalumo, for those of you who don't know, it's like, I think they call it like cherry fruit or udala if you're like Igbo. My mother-in-law actually brought some for us. My husband ended up eating all of it because, before I could even, see it. But this is actually the season, so it was very sweet. It was very good. But, you can bring agbalumo to the United States because you can't really bring like fruits and vegetables and like, of course, like livestock to the United States because you don't want, to pass on any kind of virus or diseases or anything like, well, it's not allowed. So don't do it. Okay. Someone says, say your number again. It's 407-995-6567. Cleopatra is asking, good morning. Do you go live tomorrow? I'll also be live tomorrow as well. Yes. Sheila, yes, I'm back. Good morning. Fernanda says, hey, Mom, I recommended someone to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good morning. Is the COVID shot a must to submit your documents? Right now, for your green card, the COVID shot is still required. It's possible that it's going to change very soon, but we're going to see what's going to happen. But as of right now, it's still required, at least as of when I last left the United States sometime a week and a half ago. And, just as another reminder for everyone, especially for those of you who have marriage-based cases, because, I feel like those are the people who have the biggest impact and price increase. The fees are going up on April 1st. So be mindful of that and knowing what the exact fees is, because I suspect there's going to be a lot of rejections post April 1st when people are trying to figure out the calculation of fees. For those of you who are humanitarian-based cases like, T visa, U visa, VAWA cases, removal of condition based on abuse, the great news for all of you now is that your fees, there are not going to be any filing fees for your part of the application. So it's actually better to just not get that application out before the 2 weeks time. It was 3 weeks time, The official real Angelica says, please repeat the number slowly. You speak fast. I do. I thought I actually think that I speak slowly compared to, many people. But if you can't hear the number, it's actually in my profile. So you can just go on my profile and copy paste it. Let me just try and type it in here. And then I'll pin it. And then, you can save it that way. Okay. And, I try to move as quickly as possible, though, not like, just so that I can answer as many questions as I can. So it's 6567 to schedule. Okay, so I just put the number there and I pinned it. So now you can see it. Good morning. What's the process of migrating to Canada? I don't handle Canada. I don't handle Canada migration, so I can't help you with that. Latoya Gates says, thank you for the information I received after my consultation with Stacy. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Do you offer monthly payments for VAWA as a lawyer fee? Yes, we offer monthly payments. So if you qualify, we'll be happy to go over that with you. How long is the K1 visa process taking on average? K1 visa really depends on what country the person that you petition for is. So I almost poured my tea on myself right now. Some countries are going to be quicker than others. I always say plan for about 15 to 18 months from start to finish on average. If it ends up being shorter, great. If it's possible that it can also end up being longer depending on the country. Can someone file for documents after living in the US for 10 years illegally? This question has so many answers because it depends on what you qualify for. Like there's some things that can allow you to file for that, or if you're in removal proceeding already, there's something called cancellation of removal that could offer you other things if you meet the requirements. So it just really depends on you and what you qualify for, okay? I've been married for 18 months currently, and I just submitted I-130, 485, 751. I'm on H-1B currently. Given that it takes 6 months to hear back, would I get the 10-year or 2-year green card? I honestly don't know. It just depends on when they approve you. If at the time they approve you, it's been 2 years since you've been married, then you would get 10-year. If they approve you before that 24-month window, then you get a 2-year, and then 2 years later, you just have to file for removal of conditions. Davis says, good morning, Ms. Aisha. Good to see you once again. You're back from a trip. Hope the kids enjoyed this day. Yes, my children loved Nigeria. We definitely did not like, I don't want to put Delta on blast right now, but I'm definitely going to be considering using other flights. Like I felt that, well, first of all, our flight got canceled and we were stuck on the plane for 4 hours, which I understand due to safety. And then they just basically told everybody to deplane and they just left us there. Nobody knew when our flight was. They didn't put us in hotels. It was terrible. It was actually on the news in Nigeria. So that part, my kids didn't like that. And then the flight attendants, I travel a lot with my family generally. And I am a frequent flyer on Delta. And I just, one of the things I observed was that Delta was very condescending in the way that they treated the Nigerians on the plane and in the way they spoke to them. I'm actually filing a formal complaint about this. So while, I didn't experience it personally, maybe because, they're able to tell that, I don't necessarily live in Nigeria, but I didn't like seeing that. And, it just was a constant reminder for me of why, I advocate for immigrants. And, there's nothing I hate more than when people talk down to other people. People are investing their money to support Delta, and fly this. And it's not a cheap flight, going to Nigeria, coming back, but they didn't have menus. They were making sarcastic jokes about, we don't have a goosey and goat meat here. This is what you have, deal with it. It was horrible. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back to the live. But otherwise, my kids had an amazing time. Can DACA applicants apply for a green card? It depends, it depends on if they have basically corrected their entry. So if they left, If they didn't enter the country with inspection, did they leave on an advanced parole and come back in? Are they now married, or do they now have something else that qualifies them to apply for a green card? Can okay, let's see what else. Is it better to apply for a tourist visa first or for an immigrant visa if I want to be able to work? A tourist visa does not allow you to work. It's illegal to work on a tourist visa. A tourist visa is basically a visitor's visa. You're not allowed to work. An immigrant visa is a green card. That's what it means. Okay. Aisha, I just got a job in a different state away from my spouse. I don't know if I should take it. Any thoughts? I mean, it really depends. Like, I would have to really understand like the dynamics of your marriage relationship, how long you guys have been married, what is the plan for you guys to see each other. I always say with marriage-based cases, while there's no requirement per se that you must live in the same household. After all, people who consular process by default don't live in the same country. You really have to have a logical reason why you would have that. So teachers based, for instance, let's say you're not able to get a job, but you guys need to be a two-income household, and maybe your spouse, I'm just throwing an example here of where I would say this is okay. Maybe your spouse has children and there's a child custody agreement where those children can leave, or they can't leave in the middle of the school year. They need to finish out the school year. But for you needed to go there because that's the only place that will give you like an under the table job or whatever the case may be. In that case, it makes logical sense that that's a family decision, and that the plan would be, of course, when one person is stable, you'll be able to move back and, find a job there. So it just really all depends. I want to file for my kids in Ghana. I'm a 10-year green card holder. How long do you think it will take for them to get over here to America if you help me bring them over there? So for you as a 10-year green card holder, the answer is going to depend on how old your children are. Are they under 21 or are they over 21? And are they married? If your kids are married as a green card holder, you cannot petition for them. If they're under 21, right now you're seeing about a 5-year wait. If they're over, about a 7-year wait. This changes monthly based on the visa bulletin. I don't believe they've released April yet. They usually release it like in the middle of the month. So I can't say what the next visa bulletin is, but that's kind of like the timeline that you're looking at. Peggy says, welcome back. Thank you. Denise says, good morning to the best immigration lawyer in the United States. I kid you not, she's absolutely the best. She's highly recommended any day, anytime. She and her team are the best. Thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate that. My friend's vow is still pending. It will be 37 weeks by the end of this month. She got her prima facie and EAD. No previous marriage. She's worried. Could there be a reason for the delay? 37 weeks is not a long time at all. That's not even up to a year. Vow cases take anywhere from 2 years to 2.5 years on average minimum. So 37 weeks is nothing. Like, she's going on the correct timeline. So tell her to relax and not worry. Someone says, call me. The one says, why is she worried if she got an EAD or prima facie? Yeah. All right, let's see. Hello. My I-485 just got approved. How long does it take to mail the card? Sometimes it can take 2 weeks, sometimes up to 3 weeks. Because usually once they approve it, they send the card to production. Production, I would say for most cards take about a week. Sometimes we'll see like 2 weeks. And then mailing, is just like that 1 week. So that's why I said 2 weeks on average. But congratulations. My husband has a record. Long story short, he's proven to be innocent. Is that a reason for an interview not to be waived? Honestly, I can't tell. It all depends on what the record is, when it was or what it is. But we really, truly don't know when these interviews, the ones that they bypass or don't bypass truly, I always say the more complete your application is and the less immigration history that you have, the better the chances are that yours will be bypassed. But it's really hard to say who and who will not get one. My VAWA has been approved for over a year now, and I've not received any other updates. Did you submit an adjustment of status application with your VAWA case? If you did, then we definitely, you can definitely schedule a consult. Let's see if we can get that moving for you. Um, how long does it take in I-751 cases in Texas? Well, most of them are going to Texas. I-751 cases take 18 months to 24 months average. That's why they give the 48-month extension. I mean, most people it will not take them 48 months for them to make a decision on your removal of condition. But they're giving that because if people have to keep calling about it or request an info pass, it slows things down. So that's why, for instance, like the I-751, you get the 48 months, and that's also why people are getting like the 5-year work permits now. These are just in attempts to slow down and allow them to process things a little bit quicker. So that's why. Is it possible to send you an email with questions? No, it is not possible unless you are my client. If you're not my client, you must schedule a consultation. Filed for a VAWA a year and a half and have not received anything from immigration. So you've not even gotten a prima facie or anything? Did you get your receipt? If you've not gotten your receipt, then I definitely will be concerned that they don't even have your file. So the first thing would be to do a FOIA to see what the reason is. What's the ratio of prima facie approval denial rate? What do you mean? Are you saying what is the ratio of people who have prima facie approvals that still get denied? That's the question you're asking. I don't know. I don't have a percentage. I mean, personally, in this firm, we have we have nearly 100% VAWA approvals. So I can't tell you. We have 2 cases in my entire practice that have ever been denied for VAWA, 2. And one is currently in appeal. The second one, based on, fraudulent divorce or invalid divorce. Let me not say fraudulent because the person didn't know that their divorce was not valid, So, but otherwise, we have a good percentage. I can't speak for other people. So that's like a 99.8% chance at our firm if we filed your VAWA. How long does USCIS take to respond to an RFE for medical, an affidavit of support for a marriage case? The answer depends on the officer. Every officer is different. Sometimes you can submit something like that and get an approval or a response in a week. Sometimes it takes a couple of months. So it just really depends. I'm a U.S. citizen. How long after marrying a Jamaican can he get an interview? Maxine, is he here in the U.S. or is he outside the U.S.? Okay, let's see. My I-485 case has been pending for 930 days. Is there anything I can do? Absolutely. You can start with your congressional assistance, mandamus, ombudsman assistance. Those are all things that you can try and do to see if you get 930 days. That's basically 3 years. So that's really, really long. Why do they take so long to issue receipts? Honestly, I don't know. I find it very annoying myself. And this never used to be the case. This really just started like in 2021 when they just started really taking their merry time. So I don't know the reason why. I have an I-485 interview, but my husband doesn't want to attend. What will happen if your husband doesn't attend and you don't attend? Your case will be denied. However, if you believe you qualify for VAWA, I would recommend getting screened. Like schedule a consultation, we'll screen you to determine if you qualify for VAWA. And if you do qualify for VAWA, you will still attend, but we'll explain what needs to happen at the interview for you to request a continuance on your case so that they can hold your case while they make a VAWA decision. Okay. Patricia Williams here from Florida. Good morning to you and your team. Good morning, Patricia. Does USCIS reuse biometrics? They do. I don't know if they're reusing them as much anymore. They were reusing them when, due to COVID and the pandemic. I don't know if they're reusing them as much though, but they do reuse biometrics. Yeah. My kids have been brought to the USA as minors. They're adults now, and after 10 years, how do they proceed to get documents? They've been mistreated for years. Lorian, the question is too vague. I need to know so much more to be able to, understand like what exactly are their ages, what is making them eligible, who brought them here, how did they come here. I would recommend scheduling a consultation because you're mentioning mistreatment. We can screen them for different things because I don't know who's mistreating them. Is it parents? Is it step parents? Like, there's a lot that I would need to know to be able to answer that. Um, okay, let's see. Um, can I get a work permit with a prima facie determination letter? Good question, but the answer is no, you can't. Um, you know. Good morning, Aisha. I know you had fun with the family trip. Sorry to hear about the Delta delay and stupidity, but happy to see you're back. Yes, I'm grateful to be back. Um, I just got my 10-year green card approved. Congratulations. Can I file for citizenship? It depends on how you got your 10-year green card. So if you got your 10-year green card through marriage, you have to wait 3 years from the date of your 10-year green card, not the date of marriage, from the date of your 10-year green card. If it wasn't through marriage, then you have to wait 5 years from the date of your green card. Does it make sense to do a medical and send it in with my VAL application package? Or should I wait? Personally, I don't send medicals for VAL cases just because they take so long for them to adjudicate and then move on to the adjustment of status portion. And most likely the medical might be old or a new version will be available. For marriage-based cases, it makes sense right now to send them just because they're bypassing. And again, I know I talk about this all the time, and at the risk of sounding like a nag, this is the time to file if you're eligible for something. We really don't know what the election is going to bring. If we end up having, I'm going to safely say Trump, since he's a forerunner on the other side, and it's not necessarily friendly to immigration laws that benefit immigrants. We might get the well tests back. We might get those requirements that were required when he was in office, and things that make it incredibly difficult. And I'm for sure they will remove this, interview waivers that people are getting. So if you're eligible for something, you definitely want to do it now, just because you don't know what it's going to look like next year. Okay. I have I was reading the question and it just disappeared. Okay, I have an interview for citizenship very soon. Can I go for it with a 2.5-year-old baby if I don't have anyone to stay with them? Sorry to hear that, but yeah, you can. You can, just maybe give the baby something that will distract the baby. What do 2-year-olds play with now? Like a stuffy animal, like a squishy thing, coloring book, or something like that while you're in there. But, our clients sometimes go with the babies. Yeah. Someone's asking, what is VAWA? VAWA basically stands for Violence Against Women's Act. It is a migration law that allows both men, women, children, and parents who have been abused by either their U.S. citizen counterparts or green card holders, when it comes to the children and the spouses, to get a 10-year green card because of that. So you have to show that you've been treated extremely cruelly, or your spouse or your parent or your child has been abusive to you to be eligible for it. Can your spouse with a conditional green card petition for you if you're still within status? No. Your spouse has to remove the conditions on their green card. And they can't do an I-130 until 5 years. They've had that green card for 5 years, or they're U.S. citizens. So no. Like a marriage-based one, that's what I mean. Good morning. What is next after your biometrics? The answer will depend on what you filed. Okay. So every case is different. My appointment is on April 5th with your office. I can't wait. Awesome. My birthday is actually April 4th. April is my favorite month. I have an attorney that I started a valid case with them. I'd like to continue my case on my own. How do I go about that? You should probably talk to your lawyer, ask them, tell them that, and they can withdraw from it, or you can, withdraw the G28. But if you have a lawyer, and the lawyers, you're having an issue with your lawyer, I always recommend talking to them, to explain whatever the issue is and giving them the opportunity to correct that. Okay. Can you concurrently file VAWA EAD and I-131, 485 if you overstay? Yes, you can concurrently file for VAWA work permits if you have a 485 pending and an I-131. Absolutely. You can also add an I-824 as well if you have children outside the U.S. that will fall under your VAWA application at the same time. I recently logged online and I saw my waiting time for a decision was 3 months. Then I went back and I saw it was 5 months. What does that mean? It means that you're dealing with USCIS. I've told clients this all the time, like, it absolutely means nothing to me what it says online about you're going to wait 2 weeks or 4 weeks on a decision, because it really doesn't happen that way. This is just something that they've created to make people, like, again, not have to call or whatever it is. But it's not an exact science. Like, nobody can give you a definitive date until your decision will be made on that day. But they often change that a lot. And that's why I would say, I never rest on that or rely on that. Should I go for citizenship interview with my husband if my case is based on marriage? Absolutely, you must. I need some advice with removing the conditions on my green card with a misdemeanor criminal charge. I submitted everything already and I received my notice with receipt. Well, if you need advice, schedule a consultation, and then we can go over whatever the charge is and what exactly happened. My parents went for an interview, but they were denied at the embassy asking for any affidavit of support. I'm sorry to hear that. It means that the affidavit of financial support did not meet the requirements they needed. Without knowing you or anything about your case, I can't really say much about it. Like, I would have to know what was submitted, what proof was submitted. Did the income meet? Did you submit enough proof that was satisfactory? That's usually what would cause an affidavit of support to be denied. How long does it take to get a withdrawal notification if your spouse claims he withdrew and already approved I-130? Honestly, sometimes it can take months, even a year. One thing you can do is you can call and see if your case is pending. Is your case still pending? That's one thing you can call and, give them the receipt notice to find out. Okay. I filed for an I-130 for my husband in Nigeria. How long does it take to get approved? The I-130 portion can take anywhere from 6 months to 15 months. That's the average. So you could be in the earlier part or the later part. And then usually you move over to the National Visa Center. National Visa Center can take 1 to 3 months, depending on how quickly NVC approves all your verification documents. And then from there, right now we're seeing about 7 to 8 months, which is amazing, by the way, for the visa interview appointment to be scheduled. I have a conditional green card and I received a divorce summons from my husband. What do I need to do? We're in different states. I can't really give you advice on divorce. I always say, you can't force someone to stay married. As far as your conditional green card, you still have other options. Even if you get divorced, as long as you can prove that your marriage was truly a legitimate marriage, you're married in good faith, it's just that your marriage didn't work out, then that should be fine. You definitely want to have evidence to submit to show that you had a good faith marriage. With conditional green cards, they're really looking for evidence post your green card, so evidence that of marriage after the green card was received. If you feel that you're experiencing extreme cruelty or abuse or one of those things, then we can screen you and determine if you have a case to make an extreme cruelty case. In that case, you don't have to wait for your green card to actually reach the expiration. You can submit it early, and same goes for the divorce as well. You don't have to wait. If your divorce happens and you have been married for less than, you've had your green card for less than 2 years, or you've had your green card for more than 2 years, you can still file for removal of conditions. Will USCIS flat out deny the application if you just send a marriage certificate as evidence? Or they give you a chance as an RFE or interview to provide more as time goes on? So here's what I always say. In the previous administration, they will flat out deny you. You can have an officer that will extend grace and give you an RFE, but there's absolutely no requirement for them to give you an RFE. They can deny you. They can flat out deny you. However, we're definitely seeing some more grace in this administration where you get an RFE. Or you pray you get an RFE and you have the opportunity to clarify that. But you always want to try and send as much as you can when you submit, so that you will not be flat out denied. Can we file a Form I-90 for a minor if the minor is out of state? I-90 due to a wrong date of birth on the green card. What do you mean out of state? Like out of the United States? You can file the I-90. Usually you have to return the wrong, you have to return the wrong card, and you can also go on e-service and write typographical error, USCIS's error. But you still have to return it with a green card. I'm removing conditions on my green card. Me and my husband divorced. Even though I submitted my papers jointly, should I notify USCIS that I'm divorced? Absolutely. If you don't notify USCIS, then you're going to have an issue when it comes to the citizenship, because they're going to say basically you lied and you obtained your 10-year green card under false pretext that you were still married when you were divorced. Good morning. Can one file for a T visa if the employer was not a green card holder or citizen? No. You file a T visa because you are experiencing violations of labor, human trafficking, extreme cruelty to your employer, or someone who holds you captive, in somewhat of like a pimp, slave, servitude, indentured servant kind of situation, regardless of what their immigration status is. How do you go about removing conditions from your 2-year green card? Will USCIS mail you something ahead of time? Honestly, this is very inconsistent across the board. Some people get an email or a letter saying, oh, reminder, your removal of condition is due. A lot of people don't get it. So the onus of the responsibility is on you. Basically, 90 days before your expiration date on your card, you have to put in an application. Yes, it is another form. And yes, you do have to submit similar evidence that you submitted for your original green card. The difference here is that the evidence that you submitted the first time doesn't really carry weight. You want to submit evidence post your green card showing that, even after I got my green card, we still had a good faith marriage. Look at all the things that we have together still. So that's kind of how it works. Okay, I'm going to take a few more. My VAWIC application will be 3 years in June. Nothing was sent after the receipt. Got a FOIA hoping notices got lost, but no notice was released. With the documents released, thanks. Yeah, call us, Yeti Pink. We can enter appearance for you and see what's up. At least you should have gotten your prima facie at the very least and see what else is going on with the case, okay? Dima Law says, can I withdraw asylum and apply for green card after getting married to a U.S. citizen? You could. It depends on where or what type of asylum case you have. Is it a defensive or affirmative IU removal proceedings? So all of that would have to be weighed into consideration before you put in an adjustment of status application. And then from a strategic standpoint, we make decisions based on our clients when they submitted the affirmative asylum. And then after we actually get the green card, we do the withdrawal. But again, it depends on what stage of asylum you are in and if you have a defensive or an affirmative asylum case. Is it true that you have to file taxes together in order to file for citizenship in 3 years? So while you don't have to file for taxes together, your taxes cannot misrepresent your marital status. What I mean by that is that, for instance, like if you and your spouse don't file taxes together, you cannot submit an application for citizenship saying head of household or single. If you submit that, USCIS is going to deny you and basically say you don't have good moral character because you're lying, because you're married. So if you and your spouse don't file taxes together, you want to at least file married filing jointly or married filing separately, but you want to put your correct marital status on there. And sometimes they may ask, why you guys not filing taxes? Different people have different reasons why they don't file taxes together. Maybe one person owes the IRS money, like a U.S. citizen spouse, or, there's child support and wage garnishment, and you don't want them to garnish your own portion of it. Or sometimes some people have complicated businesses and you want to separate the business, profit and loss. The other thing, sometimes people want to purchase a house and, one person has a business that's reporting a loss and the other person's incomes. So there's so many reasons for people to file married separately. It just has to make logical sense to, the officer. Okay. If I'm out of status but married to an American for 4 years, is it wise to put my information on my children's USA visa application? They're permanent residents of Canada. So Jaikela, are you in the United States? I never advocate lying or omitting anything in your applications, ever. If you're married to a US citizen, file for your adjustment of status if you're here in the United States, if you entered into the country with inspection. If you didn't enter the country with inspection and, you and your spouse are good, you can always do the I-130 and then request a hardship waiver. If that is approved, then you could consular process. And just to circle back on that, a lot of times, one thing I actually found very interesting on my trip to Nigeria was there were huge, enormous signboards of like companies, like one is called like Captiva Capital, and just different signboards of people, advertising green card application, helping you with your green card application, helping you with your tourist visa, helping you with your B1, B2 visa. And one of the things that I always caution people on is that whatever you put in that visitor's visa, even if it's 20 years ago, those things can come and haunt you in U.S. citizenship. So if you omit or say, i.e., I was married because you believe that you may get a visa quicker, when it comes to your other green card application or your citizenship, they're going to bring that up. So if you go right in the application, you don't have children, and then, or in your case, I guess is your own information that you're worried about, and then it comes out, well, this person, it can affect them. So you want to always put the things in there that they're asking you to put, especially the things that people tend to omit or remove, or things that are not usually detrimental to their case. So it's always really frustrating when we see that, they were not advised correctly and, all of that stuff. So Jack says, hey, good morning. How does the fee change work? So if you submit your your form on the 29th of March and they receive it on the 30th of March. This is still the old lower fees. Usually they go by the post dated date. So the post, like that envelope date has to show that it was before April 1st. Okay. My husband died. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Hopi. Do I have to wait 5 years to do my citizenship, or can I do it in 3 years? You have to wait 5 years, but I'm really sorry to hear about your husband. How long does it take after marriage to a Jamaican? How long does what take? Is the Jamaican here in America, or are they in Jamaica? Okay, Lori and Alexander says their father and grandmother brought them at the time we were going through divorce, and I was unable to support them. I would love to screen your children to see if your children qualify for VAWA on the basis of the father. So you can call me 407-995-6567 to schedule a consult. Okay. All right, guys, I gotta jump off. I'll be on live tomorrow by 10:30. So if I didn't get to your question, I will try to get to your question. And somebody had recommended that I try to do a live on in the evenings or at nighttime. I'm doing kind of like a survey of if you guys think that would be helpful for those of you who might be working during the day, because I always figured, people can always watch the replay. But because I'm busy with my own family and children at the end of the day, because I work so much that after work, I truly try to give my children some time with their homework and drive them around to their activities. But when I get off this live, you can comment on there if you would want me to see if I can get in one evening, and I'll see what I can do. No promises, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll be on tomorrow at 10:30, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.